Hello, everyone. So this is another AMC 8 problem from 2023. So this was the last question. So I guess that meant to be the challenging one, the most challenging, I assume, for most people. So we have a 15 integers. As soon as I see integer, I will actually circle that guy. And we are told they are arranged in order on a number line. Okay, the integers are equally spaced, which I hope reminds you um, arithmetic sequence. Okay, and then A1 is something between 1 and 10 inclusive, and A2 is given between 13 to 20, and A15 is 241 and 250. So we have a range of like 10 integers for A1, I guess, and then some numbers for A2 and stuff like that. And then we like to find A14. You don't really want to try everything until you get really what you want. So you want to probably be careful with how to start. So whenever you have a bunch of options to start with, so try some extremes, which is either the smallest one or largest value, or just try in the middle. So and see if that how that looks. Okay. So I'm gonna assume, let's say A1 is 1, and then A2, which is my second term, is let's say 13, which is not gonna work, you'll see it, but let me try. So if this is 1 as my first term, and then 13 is the second term, so that means you are increasing by 12. Since we are told that is equally spaced, next number will be 25. I'm not gonna write all these terms, right? So to get the second term, we are gonna include add 12 to the first number to get the next number, and then you add another 12 to get the next number. If you are familiar with arithmetic sequence, this is something obvious for you. So if you want to get the 15th term, so you are going to add that 12 14 times, because to get the second, you add 1, to get the third, you add 2 times, and stuff like that. So my last term, which is 15, will be 1 plus 14 times that common difference. So 12 times 12 is 144. So that will be 2 more 12, which is 24. 144, 12 plus 24, which is 168, plus 169, which is way smaller than this, which is why I cannot really use the smallest one for the A2, because my difference should be a bit larger. So we can actually get last number is larger than this guy. So which is why I don't want to go with now 14, 15, whatever. So I'm going to go with a bit higher than that. So let's try 1, and then A2 is 20. Okay. So if I try this 20, the difference is 19. So that will be 39. And if you just keep adding those, the last number will be 1 plus 14 times 19, right? And now 14 times 14 is kind of easier to work. Let me write that my 19 a bit better if I can. So that's 19. And 19 times 14, you can just multiply, or I can just do 14 squared is 196. And then you have 3 more 14s, which is 42. And then you have plus 1. So, this is 4 lesser than 100. So if you subtract 4, that will be 38 plus 139. So that's 239. It's kind of so close to this guy, but even though I took the largest number for A2, which means I took the largest difference for the first number and the second, so it didn't really give me what I want. So which is why I will give up with ones, because it does look like it's not going to give me, because I tried largest distance from A1 to A2, but it didn't really give me anything yet. So now I'll try maybe 2. If I try with 2, and then the first integer, let's try the second integer is 20. Okay, so the difference is 18. So if you just continue, and then you are gonna get 2 plus 14 times the difference is 18. So 14 times 14 is, I'm gonna use a similar way. Okay, so let's try right here. 196. Okay, we had 2 in front. And then you have 4 14s, which is basically 56, right? And if you subtract 4 from this guy, that's going to be 200. This is 52, plus this will be 54. So it's almost there, right? That's 254, which is a bit larger than this. So if you want to do this 1 and 20, which is we already try, 1, actually, we didn't. Yeah, we tried, we got smaller. So with 1 and 20 didn't work. 220 is still larger. So if you do 219, so it will be smaller, but let's try and see. if that is something will be in that range. So if you try 2 and 19, the difference is 17. You know, without really finding value, you know, the difference is 17, which means you're gonna add, like instead of 18, you're gonna add 17, which means every time you are adding like 17 instead of 18, which means this sum is actually gonna be like 14 more than this sum, because in this case we were adding like 18s, we are adding 17s. The result was 254 for this guy, okay? But now we are adding 17 each time. So the difference will be actually 17 lesser than this guy. If you really want to do that, you can see that, but that is 17 lesser than this will be lower than this as well. So 219 doesn't work either. If you do 218, that will be way smaller than that. So if you don't like see what I'm talking, so you can actually go ahead and write those terms and find the last term, which is basically gonna be similar to what we did. So 2 plus 14 plus 14 times 17. And this is gonna, if you do a calculation, that will be way smaller than this as well. So it doesn't work either. So as you see, ones didn't work, twos didn't work, but we are kind of getting something around these two integers. We are not too far away. So which is why I'm not gonna give up on using this approach. I'm gonna go with now 3 and 20. So that's gonna be two like numbers I can choose that is farther away from each other. That's 17, so 37. If you just continue doing this, so that will be 3 plus 14 times 17, right? Because we are taking difference of 17. And that is basically 14 times 14 is 196. That will be 3 more 14, which is 42, but we have 3 in front. So that is 238 plus 3 will be 241, which is really nice because we actually got this guy. So now, as you see, this actually did work, right? And then if you want to try something else as well, you can see if that is actually working. But since this is given as we have a sequence of those 15 integers, that will be one of those term will be in each interval. So since this is actually working, and then you can always confirm your answer, that should be the only one, okay? And if you have more time, you can always check some other and see why that doesn't work, but I'm gonna stop here. So my last number is 241, which is actually a 15th term, but we are looking for the 14th term, so A14 is, since in this case, we were just keep adding 17, right? So if you subtract 17 from my last term, let me do that. 241 minus 17. If you subtract 20, that's 221, but that's 3, so 224, I guess. Okay, let me double check. Yeah, 224. We are looking for the sum of the digit of this 14th term. So if you add them, so that's basically A, and that's my answer. So again, it took a bit longer than maybe what I expect, but use the extremes and use your arithmetic sequence, I guess, to get what you want. So I hope that makes sense. And if you feel this is not too simple, so I guess it's better to review arithmetic sequence. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.